I sound, but the show must go on. We got a whole lineage to save. Ain't nobody got time for these Democrats and the Republicans to be playing games with COVID that Bill Gates just admitted, like we've been telling y'all, will be as common as the flu, because that's really what it is in the first damn place. Whole nother show. I'm not gonna go there right now. We're live in 1 minute.
Oh my God.
Shirley is actually broadcasting live on her end.
Hey y'all.
And for those of you who want to know, no, I'm not taking no jab. Okay. Me and my daughter, well, I was negative. She tested positive. But child, the ghetto. Like I said, if this is the case, then I've been having COVID since October 2017. My doctor calls it severe acute bronchitis, borderline walking pneumonia, and she's got milder symptoms. Okay, and hey, we're making sure that we stay hydrated and do a number of things. And think about this, family: 2/3 of the country got the jab. Okay,
and they still got COVID. Real quick, you if you can play that Latino man one more time. I know we only got less than 5 minutes. That Latino video was so powering. I don't know if you could show it again.
What we'll do, Shirley, because I imagine the radio show's going to pipe in a second. Hold on, let me see. Make sure they're still on the phone.
Okay. All right, I'm out.
Child, I don't even see them on the phone. Well, okay, hold on. It dropped off the call. So I'll play it again when we close the show out, okay, Shirley?
Okay, that sounds good. Yeah. Play it again.
Caller, you on? Speak.
Hello?
Are you on? I think we have.
I'm on Sister Speak, yes.
I think I have to get some. All right, I'm going to go ahead and put you on there. Are you live right now?
Hi, Sister Speak. It's Angela Nirvana, the reparationist perspective. Can you hear me?
Along with my co-host Black Diamond. Say hello, Black Diamond. Good afternoon, everyone. This is Black Diamond. Thank you all for joining another show with Sister Speak. First, what I would like to say is I'm asking everyone who is under this winter weather storm on the eastern shore side, please be safe. We know we're expecting another storm coming in from Monday, so please continue to hold on to stay up with today. I'm sorry, let me get to Yes. So today's topic is we're going to do some follow-up on the Freedman debate that Kamala Harris recently did speech for, and the aid, I think it's about 8.7 billion that was supposed to be distributed to quote-unquote minority communities. We're going to dissect that. If there is any caller who wants to comment on our guest, our call-in number is area code 205-730-1400. Again, 205-730-1400. So Diamond has lined up our guest. Diamond, if you could introduce your guest. Absolutely. I want to thank our two guests that are coming on first. My sister from another mother and my sister and comrade in this fight for reparations. Sister Angela Nirvana, welcome to the show. Welcome to the show.
Thank you so much. Yes, can you hear me? Can you hear?
Coming in a little low. You can speak up a little bit louder for us.
Okay, hold on 1 second. Can you hear me now? Is that better? Can you hear me now? Is that better? Can you hear me now?
That's the best that you can do. I would ask you to try to speak louder so that the audience can hear you.
Okay, thank you for having me. Is that better?
Right, no problem. Let's move forward. Yes, you're welcome. Thank you for joining us. What I would like for you all to do, Angela, I would first like you to introduce our second guest. one of you want to give a brief intro, and then we can go ahead and get started with our discussion around the Freedmen Bank Forum. So please introduce yourself to our listening audience.
Yes, I'm Angela Nirvana from the Reparationist Perspective. I've been in this reparations movement since Kamala Harris threw her hat in the ring, working feverishly behind the scenes to get the reparations in the quadrillions that were long overdue. Thank you for having me.
You're very welcome. And our second guest, can you introduce her for me, Angela?
This is Shirley Huzar, Republican, Urban Game Changers. Shirley, if you could give a few words about yourself, we'd love to hear.
Thank you, ladies, so much. Can you hear me, or am I speaking loud enough? Let's test this first.
Yes.
You both are coming in extremely low for some reason. I don't know if you want to connect to something else or if you're not speaking directly into your phone. But you are very distant.
Really? Is this better now if I speak louder?
Yeah, that's a little better. Not as fluid, but we can at least hear you coming. Yeah, that's fine.
Because we're calling in on your system. I called the number that you told us to call in on.
Gotcha. Okay, that's fine. Anthony, is there anything that we can do on our end to try to get their volume up a little louder?
Thank you, Sister Diamond. They're coming in loud and clear over air.
Okay, great. So, Sister Shirley, can you give us a small intro about you, and then we're going to get right into our show topic today?
Absolutely. My name is Shirley Huzar. I'm from Los Angeles, California. I grew up in the urban communities of Los Angeles on 39th and Vermont. My parents were one of the first African American descendants of slaves to own businesses in Los Angeles, dating back to 1956. Fast forward, I became an activist since I was a child from Julia Dixon's campaign all the way up to Donald Trump. I am the first African American person in U.S. history to announce Donald Trump at the Republican National Convention with her family. My sons were with me, and we announced this man in office to make changes in this country. Fast forward, we have another oppressor in the office of the White House named Biden with his sidekick, Kamala wannabe Black Harris, who have now taken the name Freedman Bureau Bank Forum. The Freedman Bureau goes back to historically the descendants of slaves, not immigrants or migrants. But they have taken this terminology and now they are using it in the format of money allocated in reparations towards immigrants and migrants. And so I'm on here to clarify I am a Negro. And that is also something that was changed in the books by a congressional woman, Ming. And I will go on into that later on, but I am here to so we set the record straight. I am a people, an oppressed culture of people that is being targeted in this country to be erased, to be annihilated. That they are trying to change the terms of my name, of what I am, and what my people have contributed and built in this country. And what they're doing now is trying to basically blend us with everyone else. And in doing that, money is allocated against us.
Absolutely, sister. You know, that's the one thing I can say, just to begin our conversation. I love the passion that all of us have here, and just to speak faith. But for yourself and Angela, I have always loved you all's passion, and it comes through so very strong as you all are giving your parts. So what I wanted to talk about, let's try to move right into our conversation because Charlie, you just gave us a brief history, and I do absolutely want you to expound on it. So let's start at the top. We all, at least the four of us here today, we all are aware of this Freedmen Bank Forum. And for a lot of us throughout our communities, we've been celebrating like this is something just phenomenal. We're so happy with it. But we don't understand. Some of us don't understand why other those of us who are grassroots activists, organizers in this space, why we are not so happy, why we are not celebrating. And that's what this discussion is going to be framed around today. So Shirley, you began to discuss about the history of the word Negro, how it played directly to our lineage here, and why it is bothersome that it has been removed as it relates to the Freedmen Bank form, which of course is in the name of our lineage and our ancestors. Can you please expound for us and for our listening audience why the name Negro is so important and why it's so disturbing to us and to you that it has now been removed? Are you there, Shirley?
Yes, I'm here. So
Yes, I'm here. So
I'm here to talk.
I'm here to talk.
Her name was Grace Ming, and she's a New York congressional woman.
She's a New York congressional woman. She's Chinese, and in 2015, under President Obama, they put together a bill that later on became a law that had nothing to do with us, because they didn't want to be called Asian, they wanted to be called Chinese, and then they threw us in there saying that we did not want to be called Negro. Now, historically, you go back to the 1800s and you go back to the emancipation, we were known as Negroes. But the challenge in this country today with the migration of immigrants and illegal immigrants, everyone is one big blur and one big name, all these different names, all these different sexualities and choices. And we are muddled in this pile of bullcrap. And because of that, they are able to leverage off of the strength of the Negro. They are able to leverage my people. That means that they're able to go back and say, well, historically, we were going to help minorities. Historically, we were going to help Black people. You Black people, and I'm going to say you Black people, you have empowered Kamala wannabe Black Harris. You told her she was okay to call herself Black. By doing that, you leverage your strength of Black and Negro power against yourself even more. So they took the name away, so we didn't really call people Negroes. So we went back and I started saying Negro. I went on the Laura Ingraham show on Fox News about 3 years ago, and they cut me off because I said to Leo Terrell, I said, what kind of Negro are you? We need to first identify one thing. We are Negroes first who are descendants of slaves. The second thing you need to recognize in this fight is that they have taken your name, taking your historical history, taking your ancestors' dead blood and body, and leveraged it out of the ground and claim, oh, look how sad these dead people are. Let's give their children the money. They're not giving us the money. No. They're giving the money to these arrogant, ungrateful immigrants and illegal immigrants who have this nasty attitude of we're entitled. They don't even want to learn to speak the language. Their English is so broken, they just get to rambling, and then white America have empowered them. Indian America, people from India claim to be Black now. And nobody seems to be upset. And then the South is under attack. Let me say this again. If you are a Black Southerner, if you are a white Southerner, you are a descendant of slave Southerner, you are being attacked because they're infusing money in our name under the Freedmen Bureau. Because remember, the Freedmen Bureau came from the emancipation.
Right, and that's an absolute fact. And as we move down into our conversation, we're going to address exactly how they are doing that. But before we go on to that piece of it, Angela, I would like to ask you a question. I know that we historically, based on the legislative record and based on our historical record, we were referred to as the Freedmen when we were emancipated. Since that time, our classification here has been basically renamed over and over and over again. Can you please share with us some of the classifications that we are now classified under, such like the BIPOC and all those other ones, and explain to our audience why that is very detrimental for us to grab hold of those and to basically grab hold of those different titles, cozying up to them, and accepting them as part of our identity here.
Thank you. This is a huge problem, family. They refer to us as BIPOC, minority, people of color, even Black is too flat. When you look at the types of immigrants they are importing into this country, they generally, by and large, especially Africans, descend from slave traders. So they come from money, and then they're able to mark the box African American and get all of the affirmative action that is owed to us. I have shared with you guys that their median wealth here in LA, all the way back in 2014, was 65,000 to the liquidity of native foundational Black American freedmen, B1, $200 liquid. They were 60,000 liquid to our $200 a report. And right now I'm showing you charts where they're talking about our median income here. I'm showing my audience that's watching live on the Reparationist Perspective on YouTube. But I'm showing them, Hassan, this is the problem, because the median net worth in 2019 in US dollars, white, non-Hispanic, was $113,970. Hispanic of any race was $50,600. Black is $15,700. So when I share with you guys at the top of the show, the Latino gentleman at the Freedmen's Bank Forum talking about how they're demanding what they are owed, this country was not formed until 1776, after our ancestors' heinous chattel slave labor built the wealth. These Mickey Fickies are sitting up here screaming belong to them. Ain't that about a blip? So I'm here to tell you the reason why we are reclaiming freedmen is because the trick of the devil is to make you think the only devil is Donald Trump. You're talking about Harris and Yellen, who were over the Freedman Bank Forum, and they allowed a Black bank in Maryland, where we are the poorest, where we have the fewest businesses, to spearhead over $70 million of loans and grants. And you got a Hispanic that's 5 times wealthier than Freedman Black, whose ancestors built all the wealth he eats from with their lives, demanding what is owed to them, demanding that time is out, time is up. And you've got a Democratic Party complicit in bringing over these immigrants to make them the new Black, and they've not made freedmen whole. We are on the bottom. We are in the fight of our lives to prevent from becoming permanent bottom caste in the country our ancestors built with their lives, while the Democrats are complicit in ethno-genociding us to as few in numbers as the Indians, who, oh, by the way, this country has given about $20 billion or more to, and they won't even allow the descendants of Cherokee enslavement, Seminole enslavement, to identify as those groups to get that $30,000 monthly that most of them Cherokee Indians are receiving from the casino revenues. And then you got Jim Crow Joe down in South Carolina, proud of the Catawba bill, which is nothing but a bunch of white Dawes Indians who pay $5. They're now giving them land to open up casinos that they don't even have to pay taxes on. You got Jim Coon Clyburn sitting up here proud of a bill that was passed for white $5 Indians to open up casinos, and now Kabami and Yellen are sitting up here in the name of the Freedmen's Bank, setting up a black bank to enrich more immigrants. These titles are a problem. Removing Negro is a problem. How dare an Asian woman come into this country and be in a position to strike Negro from the Constitution? How in the world? She and Obama.
Let me jump in for a moment, because that is the sentiment of this conversation today, and that is how, unfortunately, we have been implicit in our own demise, because we haven't dated up enough about our lineage. We haven't taken full control over our story, our narrative. But let's go back to this freedom, the free. We're discussing earlier today. And that is, let's look at this banker that is from Durham, North Carolina. He's of Hispanic descent, and he made some very clear, decisive, specific demands at the Freedman Bank Forum. He said some things, and I'm going to ask that Sister Shawn step in and narrate for us some of the things that was extremely bothersome that he said. And Sister Shawn, when you do point out the things that he said, what I would ask you to do is also point out how the Harbor Bank of Maryland spoke before him, which is a black-owned bank, and how passive he was, and how unwilling the Harbor Bank of Maryland was, who did receive, I might add, $71.2 million, not getting ready to, not almost going to receive. They have already received it, okay? But he was not clear and specific as to whom he was directing those funds to, who was going to actually benefit from it. He used those flatline terms again. So, Sister Shawn, can you please help our audience educate them on what this banker said, what was bothersome about what he said, and then contrast that with how the Harbor Bank spoke? Okay. Yeah, thank you for your guest. Thank you for the passion from Shirley and Andrea. And I think it's really, really good that we have all political parties represented here, because I consider myself a non-party affiliation and or independent. But here's what's critical about what went down with this Freedman Forum, and here's what we're really trying to focus on. We're not focusing on, your politics, because I believe that your politics should elevate and your economics should elevate and not depreciate. Okay, and what we're about to get into is giving our community and making them understand that we cannot continue to be the doormat for all of these other groups or alphabets. Okay? And we've got to understand it from a political and a legislative standpoint, and how we are identified in Congress. We are identified, mostly, of course, we had transitions as Negro and Freedmen. And the biggest thing that I want you to understand, and I learned this from Dr. Clark Anderson, everybody wants to be a Negro, but ain't everybody pick no damn cop. That's bottom line. That was shut everybody down. That was shut every alphabet down. That's what he taught me. I'm going to teach you. And if they want to get into our bucket, they got to prove that they picked some cop. Okay? Now let's get back to what happened, what went down in this fall. What we're trying to contrast here, this is our lineage. Okay? This form is the Freedman Bank, the historical Freedman Bank. And what we have learned is this, there's a Latino community that literally already have established their banks, and they've only been in operation for 20 years. And he came on that form specifically said, okay, that he did not come there and his people did not come to this country to be patient. He specifically said, we're tired of waiting. And he specifically said, this is why we're here, to build wealth for generations for our people. Hands down. He didn't stutter. He didn't stutter. He didn't skip. He didn't cut his teeth. Okay?
Excuse me, y'all.
Meanwhile, he also announced that he already had $700 million, I believe, in investments capital. Correct me where I'm wrong, Don. And he just recently issued mortgages. This is very, very important to understand from a banking perspective. They are issuing mortgages in Virginia, South Carolina, North Carolina, and Georgia. Ladies and gentlemen, that is a Latino Southern strategy. You've got to be able to read between the lines. What that means is they are empowering their people in our southern states, our southern belt. How do you think that's going to affect the politics? So we must, okay? And so here's why I'm saying, first of all, that is the outcome of what's going on. And it's going on quietly, but this is what we're talking about today.
And let me just jump in for a second, sister. Go ahead. I wanted to also point out Louis Pastoral, he is a banker, and let me just correct something first. The bank has not been running for 20 years. He has only been here for 20 years. Okay. And within the 20 years that he has been here, he has determined that they are fed up with being locked out economically here when it comes to the United States. He made it very clear that they are not waiting anymore. They are tired of walking into a bank expecting to be denied. He said that ends now. He also let us know that they are looking to acquire wealth to pass down to their family members. Okay? He made it very clear, which was unlike what the Harbor Bank of Maryland did. This man, he spoke specifically about who he was serving. He did not hold his tongue back. He did not say disadvantaged communities. He didn't say black and brown communities. He never once even mentioned the word black, African American, or anything like that. He was specifically saying the Latino community, the Hispanic community, and then he went so far to make sure that we understood, yes, I am here at the Freedmen Bank Forum in behalf and through your limits, but I'm not here for you at all. I want you to know I am talking about the 126 other nationalities that are of Spanish-speaking descent. He made sure that we knew specifically who he was talking about. Now, when you contrast that to the Maryland, the Harbor Bank of Maryland, who again, let me reiterate that they received $71.2 million of money from the Freedman Bank supposedly for, he never said for Black communities, Freedmen communities, or African Americans. This man, he said for disadvantaged communities, for minorities, and for people of color. This man was not brave enough, was not firm enough, failed to stand on his square when it came to us. He failed to stand on his square and say, I am here, and everyone else is here for a specific group and their advancement and their economic inclusion. I am here for, at minimum, he could have said the African American community, and yet he failed to do so. This respectable Negro politics is detrimental to us. No, we need to hold their feet to the fire. We need to make sure that our listeners, we as a group, need to make sure that we understand that when people do things like that, when it comes to us, we need to hold them accountable. So now I'm sorry. That's okay. We need to hold them accountable, but we need to put the pressure on them. See, here's the important. Here's what we want to really put through the lens. We're going to clarify these lenses. We're going to get these. We take off the
dusty road flags, okay? So what happens is, with this type of narrative and this type of language, like the sister Shirley told us from out of California, the impact of them trying to remove the word Negro, you are actually in participation of removing yourself from benefit.
They removed, Sister Sean, it's been removed. It's already removed. It ain't gonna be removed. It's already removed.
Right. Yeah, the Obama administration, absolutely. So that's already one night in our back. I'm sorry, when you come in, I can't hardly hear you. I think everybody else can hear you, but if you can hear, just interrupt me, Donna, as I go on and somebody wants to say something. But that's okay, because it's already done. As Angela just said, that's already, I wouldn't even say one knife in our back. We got many knives in our back, okay? And so what we're trying to do is when our Bank of Maryland, and I believe his name is Joseph Patton, and we've already allocated, we've already been allocated $71 million. We're going to contract. He spoke before that Latin banker, and he was just as a submissive. He didn't have any gumption. He didn't have any fervor. He didn't speak specifically for Black Americans. He didn't speak for specifically for Freedmen. The very, very form that he is sitting on and getting an audience to. This man was basically plantation rape, okay? That's what I call plantation rape. We have got to get rid of that because he spoke in underserved communities, minorities. So they always want to put a case in for everybody. They don't want to specifically advocate for themselves. In contrast, this Latino baker was like, no, we ain't playing with you. We telling you what you want, and you gonna do what we say in your own form. And that is disrespect. Now, I can say when you do things like that, and when Carver Baker, Maryland, speaks in that language, you actually allow these people to double dip. So they can dip into our bucket based on Joseph Atkins talking about. Let me jump in. Yeah. So let me go back to our guests, Shirley and Angela. Do you have any input to this conversation? Again, let's keep our focus on the Freedmen Forum, the Freedmen Bank Forum, how it impacted us negatively by them using our lineage, our history, and then passing it over to everyone else but us.
Well,
you are open to present your comments.
Well, this is historically how it happens. When you think about how General Sherman and Abe Lincoln gave us 40 acres and a mule, and then Andrew Jackson or Johnson, whichever one of them white racist devils, the Dixiecrat, came up in there and took it from us and gave white folks and white immigrants the Homestead Act for 100 years. And then the Republicans want to look at Black folks and measure them up against immigrants who may give all of our jobs and reparations to, and tell us to pull ourselves up by our bootless straps and how against government programs they are, all the while pretending like they don't know how we got to the bottom of the Titanic as the anchor of the country's capitalism. It's unconscionable. But this is what they do constantly. When you listen to that forum or you read some of the talking points from the actual government website, Kamala Harris sits up here and talks about the atrocities of what happened in Oklahoma to our Black Wall Street there. She talks about they even use a Black woman who had 4 businesses in the South, and now she's reduced to 1. But they pivot and then let this Hispanic, who wasn't even over here when the country was formed, he ain't done 500 years of slavery. His people are disproportionately on lockdown in the private prison industrial complex, which is a not so new slavery for Black people. whom you legislate out of the workplace by giving our affirmative action to white women, white men as LGBTQIA and immigrants. You sit up here and you take our affirmative action and we don't even get to benefit from it. So this here is wash, rinse, repeat. And until we weaponize this vote in the interest of Freedmen, we will spiral out of control in the form of ethno-genocide and being genocide to the numbers, as fewer numbers as the Indians, who, like I said earlier, the Cherokee are clearing $30,000 a month from the proceeds from the casinos that are not taxed.
Absolutely, absolutely. Sister, do you have any comments before we move on to the next part of our conversation that you would like to add to what we were just discussing?
You said Sister Shirley.
Yes.
Can you hear? Okay, this is what I want to say. I think it's clear that we need to spread the word. We have social media. We have Facebook. We have YouTube. We have Instagram. So we are very visual and emotional people. But I also go back to old school, the power of the pen. Many of you guys have access to Black press. Now, Black press is an old school method, but some of these Black papers still exist. If we could go back and go underground just a little bit and start writing and explaining everything in writing, the numbers that we are discussing today, the names of the people that we are discussing today, the cultures of these people, the arrogance and the attitude that is perceived through these people, we can show you through video because they were videotaped. The more that we realize that the power of and the power of communication, of clarification, of identity is known to our people, then we will be able to get to that next level of the abuse. Again, using the right terminology, the abuse of our ancestors and the abuse of taking the word Freedman Bureau bank form, a bank form that you now are having a face of Latins and immigrants and migrants who are demanding, who are disrupting, and who are destroying our history. That needs to be in writing, and then that needs to get a voice and an energy across the country. Otherwise, it is doomed for the next generation. And if we can stop and get off the BS of celebrity entertainment conversation and get off of that BS and start giving more energy towards things that are going to empower and help your next generation instead of their generation, we might have a shot at this.
Yeah, absolutely right. And that is a very good segue point for our community action call. You know, one of the things that you said, Shirley, is that we need to get more involved with going back to the old school way of doing some of this advocacy. One of those ways is by reaching out to your local elected representatives. That is a strategy, in my experience, from being in this space for some time now.
Hold on, I don't mean to cut you. Hold on, I don't mean to cut you off. That's not what I said. Because the local elected officials to me have sold us out. Let me clarify that. All these Negroes or claim to be Negroes like Kamala want to be Black Harris, we've done our part. We've called these congressional leaders. We've asked for them to give us representatives that represent us. They don't. Maxine Waters is also part of the one that helped create this. Cory Booker helped create this piece of legislation.
Yes.
So if I go to Maxine Waters and ask for help, she created this legislation. She's allowing it to go. I'm telling you, go back to these old Black papers that are about to be extinct, taken over and wiped out. You need to regenerate them engines and that printing press and go back to do like what you see with the Nation of Islam. The Nation never lost its voice with each other because they always passing and selling them papers for $0.25. We need to start going back to like what they didn't stop doing. We need to go back to also, and I'm not saying not do what you're saying, which is call you congressional leader. I just think they're sold out. So unless we vote them out of office, which is an upcoming term, and set a precedent and a term of what we want in place, you can forget it. Joe Biden could continue to do executive orders of money allocated and using our historical pattern and lifestyle for their benefit.
Absolutely. Let me jump in for one moment, and then we will pick back up. I want to remind everyone, all our listening audience, if you're interested in calling in and commenting on the show, or just adding whatever your personal thoughts are, please call 205-730-1400. Our call lines are open. Give us a call at 205-730-1400. And Shirley, you're absolutely right. We do need to revise some of our ways of how we used to communicate. I think about it here in our local space in the DMV. The Prince George's County recently, I think maybe now about 3 months ago, decided to create the quote-unquote green book. And they recreated the green book using our name. Okay, let me just pause for a second. Okay, so we have a caller on the line. And could you please put the caller through? Thank you for calling. Caller, can you please give your name and your location?
I live in Texas, and my name is Mercedes Moss. And the reason thank you. The reason that I was calling was because I wanted to mention the nation of Islam paper and the sister did. But the thing that we've got to do, we've got to realize who we are. And we can't go by the names that they have called us, whatever, because they can call us minorities. And I think we can realize that we're not minorities anymore. They've given the name minority to the LGBTQ and plus. But the one word that I haven't heard anyone speak on, and you and I and the sisters that are on there and all the ones that they call Black, Negro, whatever, we are actually related to the pre-Adamites. But because of religion, we don't know that. Because we think we came from Adam. And so because we're so confused, they're able to use language against us and tell us different things, and we are so confused, we call ourselves everything but right thing. We are related to the pre-Adamites, the ones that were here before Adam. And when we can get on that page, we might just get something done. And they talk about that estimation of Islam, the people, the pre-Adamites. That's all I want to say.
Thank you. Thank you for your comment. Okay. And so to get back to our conversation, as it relates to what we can do when it comes to our community, no, there are no other calls. As it relates, I'm sorry, I think we're breaking up again. But as it relates to what we can do, Shirley, going back to what your comment was and your recommendation of our community and how we can start taking more of a proactive action and getting up around the messaging when it comes to our lineage and just being some form of communication. I think we have another caller. And do we have another caller on us?
Yes, caller, you on air.
Okay, caller, your line, can you please give your name and your location?
Yeah, my name is Brother Raheem. I'm calling from Los Angeles, California. I'm
welcome to the show.
Clark Trademark. Yeah, I'm originally from Nigeria, and from the conversation with the hearing, and thank you for the insight, the conversation. I hear a lot of cries. I hear everyone expressing where it hurts. And my opinion, I don't have too much knowledge about the subject matter, but in my opinion, most of the people, you know, in these places or office, you know, high places, they are sponsored by somebody else. They're not sponsored by the community. They're not working for the community. So we should not even bother, you know, complaining about these people. We should have people that we sponsor. We should have people that are working for us. And apart from the politics of things, we need to create our own supply chain, build our own balance system. That is what we need to do. Whatever group talking about anything, year in, year out, whatever. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your comment, caller. Well, we have another caller on the line, so we have to move on. But we appreciate your call, and thank you for listening in. Next caller. Okay, so we lost the other caller that was just on the line. So let's go back as we are now at our 10-minute point. For Angela and Shirley, before we move on, I want to give you all the opportunity, one, to put out your contact information for our listeners so they know how to contact you if they have any other questions of what you're speaking about, and if they're interested in following you. Please advise, starting with Angela, please advise our listeners how they can reach out to you.
Sure, thank you so much. I've got about 300 videos dealing very aggressively with both parties, but specifically the Democrats, because by and large, 87% of our electorate refused to listen to us when it came to a strategy and chose to put Biden and Harris into the White House. So check me out at the Reparationist Perspective on YouTube. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And Shirley?
I want to clarify something before I go off the air, not go off on the show. Real quick, for those who know my personality type, and I'm going to say this out of love, and I want you Negroes to listen. That Nigerian brother they called in, you don't qualify. If you are from Nigeria, let me clarify my voice. I just want to clarify my voice. Because I'm speaking through my voice. Okay? That Nigerian brother they called in, you don't qualify because you are not a descendant of slaves. And let me say this to you. I've had my DNA done and I have more. The primary for me allegedly is supposed to be Nigerian. Okay? So I know I have a lot of strong energy because Nigerian people are very strong. But when you come into a space like this, when we're talking about descendants of slaves, we're talking about historical ramifications. This is what I mean, everything needs to be in writing. Because you need to go and do your homework before you come on this platform and start trolling about, well, what we need. You don't need nothing because you don't qualify in this space. This space is to address the historical dysfunctional displacement of Black people who founded this country. You did not do that. Your ancestors, which I am part of, Frontline did. But to come here and rectify saying, well, we need to know, we don't need your opinion, bro. Because you ain't from this tribe. We are a whole nother tribe of people. The people with our last names are white people's last names. My maiden name is Webster, Johnson, Jackson. Those are nigger names that are allocated from white people. Your name is okay? And I ain't trying to disrespect nobody here. But let me make it clear, I'm passionate about having a clarification of what type of Negroes I'm addressing. And I'm tired of everybody coming in and then they put these little Black immigrant Africans, Nigerians, Caribbean, Haitian Blacks on the line, and they want to act like they're part of the party. Sit your ass down somewhere over in the I just get real upset when they start everybody claiming to be black and think every Negro is the same. We are not of the same tribe. That's all I want to say.
I gotta piggyback on what Shirley. said. That was fire. Listen, I have on my screen that in 2018, the median household income for Nigerian Americans was $68,658, and that was in 2018. Okay, they were 300 times more liquid than freedmen blacks in Southern California in LA. I think that's where he was calling in from. Furthermore, you got no space to speak on freedmen issues when you fled your Holocaust. You sold us into slavery. And you fled your Holocaust. So you can't talk to us about freedmen issues. Take a seat.
Hello, you can hear me. But if you can't hear me, we are down to and I do need to, as in Sister Speak, we need to make sure that we clarify Sister Speak in his platform position. Okay, so I'm going to ask that Sister Sean, you go ahead and speak for a second. Yeah. Let me, and hopefully we have a problem, but let me just say this. Let me just say that I took that call in a totally different perspective. I did not take that call as something that was adversarial, okay, because we do have allies. And that's one thing. I'm going to disagree with you, Shirley, because we do have allies that are non-freedmen, okay? And don't forget John Brown. Okay. I'm going to finish it. Okay, so you cannot say, and I think the point was an analysis of what we're doing. What I got from the comment was that we need to really develop our own candidates and to be able to counteract what's going on. And that is really piggybacking back on what Shirley said. Basically, what I perceive is that they're basically already sold out involved. So right now, we have some gatekeepers, a bunch of sellouts. We need to replace that with like-minded people. So that is what I got out of that comment. I did not get that comment, take out that comment that it was something adversary. And we have to be careful with that. We cannot say, okay, just because you're from Nigeria, you cannot comment on any kind of solution, as long as your solution oriented. Because if not, I would sit up here and say, you are a Republican and you're not allowed to speak on our platform. So we allow Republicans to speak on our platform. So we are going to honor and we're going to take anything that they want to contribute as long as they are an ally. So I'm going to be very, very careful about that piece. Okay? All right, so Shirley, let me tell you what I do love. You said we got to go back grassroots, black paper, hand to hand, just like they did with the Nation of Islam. We got plenty of black papers. There's a lot of black papers written by Baba Ika. There's a lot of things we need to take that underground strategy. And the very platform that you're on is called Sankofa Revolutionary Radio. So this is another conduit, another way outside of Facebook, all that wonderful thing. Instagram, we need to be using all of that. This very same program is also a black-owned program, Sankofa Revolutionary Radio, and this is where we need to discuss and air out these things. Thank you. All right, thank you for that. So what I would say in the name of Sankofa and in the name of Sister Speak is that here, everyone's opinion is valued. Whatever your opinion is, as long as it's not disrespectful, it is valued. Now, as far as the caller from Nigeria, we appreciate his call because he felt that he had something to lend to the conversation. And again, this is why it's so important that we educate the public on our position. Because what we don't want is for the public to walk away feeling like we have some type of dissension between the freedmen and continental Africans, Black Africans, right? Because we don't. What we're simply stating is education change for us, and that this discussion pertains to those of us who descend from the United States chattel slavery system. We are down to 3 minutes. We have a caller on the line. Pastor, can you put the caller through? Caller, thank you for your call. Please state your name and your location.
Yeah, I'm the same Nigerian caller again. If you guys permit for me to respond, I'll respond. If not, I'll hang up.
Okay. Let me just say, if your response is going to be hostile, then I would ask that you defer from your response. As I've already said, education is necessary.
Here for hostility. My response is very simple. Her response was a reflection of the elephant in the room. Even within the community, there is, the division. I mean, some people think this struggle is just for a specific group. It's for all black people. We're looking for the liberation of the black race.
Okay, so what I'm going to do is first thank you for your call and thank you for calling back to express your opinion. Okay, so we are now limited on our time, and we're going to move forward from that discussion. But thank you for calling back, callers. We are now down to our last 2 minutes of our call. Again, what I would want to say is thank you to both our guests for coming on. As always, this is a fiery, controversial show, and all opinions are welcome. Again, Sister Shirley, you were not able to get out your contact information, and I absolutely want you to be able to get it out before our show ends. And I would like to ask you if you would like to pray us out of our show as we begin to end it, and I will give you a cue if you are fine with that as to when you to begin. Sister Shirley, do you want to give out your contact information?
Sure. If you guys can follow me on YouTube, my name is Shirley. Last name is Husar, Husar. And that is what I'm doing right now. I'm just doing a lot of social media and communicating. We will be writing soon, and when my writing comes out, I will be posting it. I just wanted to say one last thing. I am a native, born and raised of Los Angeles. And I know many of you Southerners are listening in, and you don't understand the passion and the pain that me and Angela are going through in the West Coast. And just to let you know, we are down to 3 to 5% blacks in California. There are no black Americans in California. If you were going to add in the immigrants or the Nigerians, and in our state, they have separated themselves from us. They have their own communities. They are not part of the black community. The Nigerians have their own, and the Ethiopians have their own.
Okay.
So I just want to let you know that we need to come together. That's all I want to say.
Yeah, we do need to come together. So let's just do this. Our call to action, the call to action is to the Harvard Bank. Let's not forget that. It's 71 million being legislated, supposedly for us, although they put us in a blender. What we want people to do is call corporate offices. The number is 410-520. Corporate offices, wait a minute. Call the corporate offices of the Harvard Bank of Maryland and to express your feelings about how and what they are going to do with the money that was earmarked specifically supposedly for our community. That is number down.
It's breaking up bad. Hello? It's breaking up. Family, stand by. Technical difficulties. It's breaking up, y'all. Stand by, family. Freedman Life. Welcome to the live. Please like, share, subscribe, turn on your notifications. Thank you for joining the live. Hey now, I see y'all. I've been flashing y'all's comments. Okay, it feels like I've lost them. Not really sure what happened. Shirley, are you there? Shirley, are you there? Shirley.
I'm here. I got to
Okay.
turn on. Hold on, you
That's
guys.
a wrap on that show. I couldn't get him back to pray him out. Shirley, unmute your mic, darling, so we can have this conversation.
Okay, hold on. Can you hear me now? Hold on. I got too much going on. La. Can you hear me?
Shirley. Uh-oh. I don't know if she can hear me. Let me call her, y'all.
Oh, can you hear me now?
Yes, thank you.
Okay, sorry. I got
turn this off. I don't know what happened to the call in the end, but I wanted to bring you here so we can dig into this here a little bit more before I let you go. I'm not sure what happened to the call. It got real murky. Were you able to record the number to the Harbor National Bank corporate offices for our people to call in?
No. Let me go ahead and share your screen. Hold on a second.
Okay.
And I want to clarify. I know they don't like me saying this. I'm just tired of these people who come in from other countries, and they took the caller once. They should have not taken that man twice. And then they're gonna compare a Republican to an African descent.
Right.
I just like, you got to be kidding me. These are parties versus cultures. This is the problem with these Southern Black people. Y'all ain't got a clue how these people taking over. And we got to be fair. We got to be kind. Don't ask me on your show because I will cut you like a blade, baby. I'm the wrong bitch. I'm telling you, I'll get some switchblades out. And my sons will be like, hold on, mama, hold on. Oh, hell no. You up there gonna have this old African on here. And he gonna talk all that shit, talking about we all need to work. Ain't nobody wanna work with your African ass. Take your spear, spiping butt and go somewhere else getting them free damn checks. Y'all go look at that PP loan. They got them Africans got that PP money. I did a whole video on it. You didn't see Shaniqua, Tanasha, and Tanika getting checks. You saw them Africans getting checks. I'm sorry, I don't mean to be mean, and I didn't say I dislike African people, but I'm tired of people saying we all got to work together. I ain't got to work with nobody. That's why I didn't go on back in my hole. I don't want to work with these people. I don't find these people to be allies.
Sis,
what?
Forgive me for screaming.
I'm sorry. Oh my goodness.
I loved it. That's why I followed you up with my stats. The audience loved what you had to say, honey. Let me explain something to y'all. Okay? When you $15,000 liquid nationwide, how you own any of the businesses these Nigerians own it, and they damn near 70,000. More than that, a lot of the information I'm using to share with y'all about these Black immigrants is dated because they don't want us to try and find this information out. They love to mask our Blackness, to mask the failures of this country, specifically the Democrats. They love to mask the failure of our government who killed and stole everything white folks and immigrants eat from. They love to flatten it in all flat Blackness, and their goal is to replace us with them. The immigrants, BIPOC, minority, people of color, all this nonsense is designed to replace Freedmen so that they can put more POC white oppressors in government to further oppress us and deny us the reparations we are long overdue. I would like to have heard from that Nigerian, what is he told his people specifically to do since he down here in LA? where back in 2014, they were 300 times more liquid than Freedman Black. What has he been telling since he's such an ally, since he's such a comrade? What have they been telling the Nigerians to do to help us fight for the reparations we're owed in the quadrillions? That's what he should have called back in and said, I'm an ally, a part of this organization fighting for you to receive your reparations exclusively as a descendant of the very ancestors who built the wealth I eat from, who I traded into slavery. I descend from slave traders, and I'm over here double dipping, and my wealth position in 2014 was 300 times more liquid than you. Come back on the phone and tell me what you're doing to fix that. Don't tell me I need to put the people in office when you are as complicit as they in neutralizing us economically. Now, I'm not anti-immigrant. I am anti the weaponization of immigration to make bottom caste of freedmen. That's what I'm anti. Go ahead, Shirley.
Girl, I don't know what to say. You said it all right there. And I think the clarification of the Negro or who we are still is not pertinent. It's not set a stone yet. I mean, in order to move forward in what we're talking about doing and what these ladies want us all to do, if you don't know what type of Negro you are, if you don't know where you place in this fight, then it's going to muddle the waters. That's why I cut him off. That's why I came on like I did. I mean, like, I'm trying not to bring so much fire and attack, but bruh, you coming in my hood and you talking about California, and then you acting like you represent, like we all get along. We all don't get along. I'm telling y'all across the country, if you look up online, they got their own little community called Little Nigeria, a Little Ethiopia. Okay, you can find, they got a map, they're mapped out. What happened to little descendants of slaves? What happened to that area? No, we don't get recognized. Oh, y'all in the hood. We're hood people, right? But they get more recognition and identification and clarification. In the meantime, like I told you, they said, oh, contact your local official. That's a more BS. Because these local officials are the ones who created the legislation. Let me clarify one more time, and I'm going to shut up. These local officials, Cory Booker created this. Maxine Waters created this. These are Black people who act like they're helping Black people. And then they have to use the terminology, which I showed you guys earlier in the remarks from the White House. And they use black, 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 black. But then you get Mexicans sitting down. Angela, do me a favor, please, Angela. Show the video of the Mexican man just now. Show that video. Get that video up. I want y'all to see this video. And I want you to see how this Mexican illiterate, can't speak no damn English, all broken up, demanding ass man is wanting your money and go get your money and has got your money and will probably curse you out.
I'm looking it up now. Stand by. Go ahead and keep talking, Shirley, while I find it.
So if you want to talk about understanding a clarification, the first thing y'all need to look up is that realize that Grace Meng, let me go ahead and say this again. This Grace M-E-N-G. You New Yorkers, you let this woman get in there and they put her in office, and just like them Democrats, she was a flunky. This little pudgy looking Asian woman was a flunky, and they used her to take your name away. You are no longer a Negro. But if you go back and you study the Freedmen Bureau and you understand the Freedmen Bureau, then the Freedmen Bureau, also the Native Americans got way more rights than you did. The Native Americans also were part of the Freedmen Bureau. But when Lincoln died, when Lincoln died, Andrew Johnson, who became the president, was a Democrat and a Dixiecrat and a racist, white hat wearing, Ku Klux Klan toting man card vice president. Okay? Not Lincoln. Lincoln was a Republican, but he was what? Assassinated and replaced by the Klan's card wearing man. Okay? And when they replaced him, he changed the regulations. It was the Republicans that wanted reparations. do your homework. I ain't trying to just push the Republican Party because they got their flaws too. But I need to clarify something here. It was the Republican Party, the radical Republicans, who were fighting against Andrew Johnson to stop that brutalization of what they were doing and didn't recognize the blacks for the contribution of that war. So instead of giving them a form of food and shelter and all these things that we were supposed to be allocated, look up Special Order number 15. Write that down. I'm not a rambler. I'm a historic and factual person that will tell you truths and numbers. I'm not emotionally disconnected from what we are going through. I want you to understand that these people are riding on their emotions and their dispositions in life to ride off of your pain a foundation lane. Your people laid the foundation. They are riding off of that because we don't clarify what type of Negroes we are. We can't be open to everybody. I'm not open to hear no Nigerian. I don't care. You want him as your ally? What ally am I getting out of him other than him sucking like a vampire? Nigerians have not helped descendants of slaves. Africans in California do not help descendants of slaves. Oh, they want to help us. They're not helping you financially. They're not helping you socially. They're not even getting your voice of, hey, we've got to help the black people. They ain't out there downtown LA. Where was that Nigerian downtown LA right now where you have 90% of the black people who are homeless? Where is those Nigerians right now downtown LA when you have the Hispanic immigrant cops out there raping and controlling and harassing our people 3 or 4 or 2 in the morning while I'm getting notifications from my people from the hood on the streets? So when I hear all these people talk all this trash, you don't get respect from the queen, baby. Before you come to this throne, get ready to be cut unless you understand the pain of my people in my community. That's what I want to say.
Shirley, I'm still trying to cue up just his segment. Can you please tell them why Negro being removed with the help of Barack Obama is problematic?
It's problematic because you got to remember this Obama administration changed the face of America in the sense that we became acceptance. Our people, either 2 things they did. They woke up or they went even further asleep. A lot of blacks woke up and say, you know, we ain't getting nothing from this, bruh. Like, we ain't got nothing. And so it did awaken the sleeping Negro. But on the other hand, it made people complacent. And they were like, oh, this is great. We've got a black president. It's all made now. We got it made. You don't have anything made because what you have now is a division of culture. He divided us socially, sexually. He divided us. That administration caused major division of infusing and empowering El Salvadorians, Guadalajarans, Hispanics, Jews, Italians. Everyone has now gone into their own quadrants, right? They've all said, this is my area of expertise. And then you do your homework and you will learn that there's executive orders for every one of those cultures of people that I just spoke to you about. And it continued under the Bush administration and it continued under the Trump administration. So administration and parties are detrimental if we don't push back for our reasons and our causes. And if we're going to be a one-party culture of people, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. We're just as bad as saying, well, all the parties are the same and we're just going to go all the same way. That's not reality. The reality is there are people who are lobbying against you. There are people who are plants, like I believe that Nigerian was a plant that came in and it wants to displain what we were talking about. And I say displain what we were just trying to explain to you about this money allocated in the name of Freedmen Bureau. But you have to understand the Freedmen Bureau Bank was derived from the fact that Andrew Johnson did not want Black people to have allocated things given to them, like it said in the terms of the of a Freedman Bureau Bank. I mean, under a special order number 15. Fast forward, they gave us a bank. Now, if you learn the history of that bank, they robbed that bank. And that money, that those checks, and I've showed you, many of you guys still have access to checks. Those checks were Black people money. They had the soldiers deposit their checks into this bank, which white people stole. Fast forward, the Freedmen Bureau Bank term and name is being used in this money now allocated to immigrants. Why would you have to use those names? Because they leverage off of your pain for their benefits.
And let me jump in, Shirley, because I want you guys to know what Yellen said at the Freedman Bank Forum about the Freedman Bank. Founded by Lincoln in 1865 to help newly freed slaves build wealth, the bank's books were in shambles by 1874, largely because of poor oversight by a Congress that had waning interest in Reconstruction. Shirley, I'm gonna take a breath. Could you share how the Mickey Thickies were placed in a position to rob and pillage how many millions from freedmen who had served in the Union Army to fight for our emancipation?
You know those numbers better than me. You know, if we think about numbers as far as where we are now today in the billions, in the trillions, we know those numbers are high. We know those numbers will never be addressed until there's a clarification of us understanding who we are first. We can continue to talk about money and numbers and how Janet Yellen has come into place because she's part of the running the money, right? She's part of running the show.
She has the Treasury Department.
You know, when we had what's that man's name? Dr. Ben Carson in charge of housing. You would assume that we would have really lavished ahead for 4 years under Trump. We didn't. He didn't get all those homeless people off the streets. We talk about the homeless community. That is two words you should not say together. We don't need communities of homeless people in America. We need that to end. We don't need solutions. We need conclusions. We need to know that in our lifetime, that when we die, we know that was something of the past, just like we know slavery was something of the past. But still, it has transformed into another form of slavery with these setbacks that we see by them getting these brothers incarcerated, putting homeless people, writing 3 tickets, 3 strikes you're out, and then they get more free labor through these planned situations, through these mass incarceration jails that basically are privatized and another form of slavery. And the laws still say on the books that if you revert back to prison, you revert back as a slave. So where should we go right now? And if for those who have followed me over the years and you know my passion, I just believe we need to start writing. We need to start writing. We need to start blogging, and we need to start supporting some of these old Black papers that have been looking for writers before they totally are obliterated. And say, you know, Mr. Jones, Mr. Bob, I was listening to Angela and Shirley, and I want to write an article. I want to talk about my story. And y'all need to get your story out there, because right now they're going to continue to leverage their own.
The challenge with that is when it's run by white dollars, they don't want these stories.
No. There's a lot of Black papers right now in the urban communities that are not controlled by white people.
Well, we need to find them. She also goes on to say, I was trying to help the people understand it was not about no poor oversight by a Congress that had waning interest in Reconstruction. These Congress people were left charge of that bank, and they robbed and pillaged it. Frederick Douglass, who had agreed to the bank's president, tried to save it. He deposited $10,000 of his own money. Okay? But the show of confidence didn't work. The bank failed, and more than 61,000 African Americans lost their savings because this was prior to the monies being protected. So over and over and over again, you see the decimation of our Black Wall Streets all over the country. You see the decimation of the Freedmen's Bank. You see them rescinding the 40 acres and a mule. You see all these atrocities because the Democrats have been in control, and Black folks just continue to show up and not come up with a winning strategy for us. I've shared on prior broadcasts that the Hispanics 50,000 and under vote for the Democrats. Over 50K, they go Republican. So I'm here to tell you, while they weaponize the Freedmen's Bank to give another white wealth transfer to white folks and immigrants alike, we are being placed in a position to be the permanent bottom cast of the Titanic called America with 3 Ks. Understand that they talked about Boyle Heights here in Los Angeles at this bankers forum. Most of these people and places they're talking about are predominantly white. When I looked up Boyle Heights, it was less than 1% Black, 57% white, about 2% Asian, and about 2% other. So when they talk about this money being earmarked in the name of Freedmen's Bureau Bank, they're talking about another white wealth transfer in the same way that they do class-based policies. What that don't fix race. Why in the world do white folks whose median income is around 115,000 to around 15,000, why do they need to have their student loans erased when they are the ones who are most educated? They've got the money to be educated. And so this is what they're doing to everything we're fighting for. They're finding a way to whitewash it and do it in our name while we plummet into the permanent bottom cast, while we're being ethno-genocide right about the country our ancestors built with their lives. Let me play the video one last time before I pray us out. Hold on, Shirley. Welcome to the live family. Please like, share, subscribe. Turn on your notifications. Forgive my voice. They got this pandemic impacting us all. Hold 1 second, family. Let me bring this bullshit.
I want you guys to share. Please share this video on your platforms like Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat, and let's have discussions about it. Now, this is the gentleman that was given the right to speak at the forum.
Tell our story. From a sad situation, we need to transform our institution into a very, very happy situation. And how do you do that? Just becoming the place of opportunity, just becoming the place where you don't need to hide who you are, the place that we can pronounce your last name, the place that we can speak in your language most of the time. The place where the largest fear that all of us have dealing with financial institution is rejection. It's just going, it doesn't matter who we are. Every time that you go, you just don't want people because you feel that they are judging you as a person. They're not judging. And the problem is that most of the time it's true. They judge you as a person. If you don't know, if you don't show, if you don't look, if you don't speak like the person that they're expecting. So 21 years later, we are in credit union world, we're a large credit union. We are 700 million in assets, soon to be 800 just with the money that we are going to be awarded. And recently, in the last few months, we started just offering mortgages in the surrounding states. In 3 months, we just booked mortgages in Virginia, South Carolina, Georgia, on top of North Carolina. When we talk about individuals, communities that have been left out in every single economic crisis, there we are. They are the immigrants. And even don't let our name confuse you. Even we are called Latino Community Credit Union. We have immigrants from 136 countries in the world. So the exclusion is not just something that is only based on your country of origin. This is a common situation. We're going to keep expanding. We're going to keep opening opportunities. We're going to keep dreaming. The message that we have been giving to our community, more than 100,000 members that we have right now, is that when you are an immigrant, you come here, probably the public perception is that you need to be patient. You need to wait. You need to wait for sometimes for decades or sometimes for generations. And the reality is that we don't want to be patient. We don't want to wait because we want to have our house. We want to have our businesses. We want to contribute. We want to be able to provide some wealth and transfer this wealth to our kids because that's the reason why we came here, not to be patient. Want to be patient, we can stay where we are. But the whole system has been always telling us that you have enough just to survive another year, that you have enough to. So when suddenly institutions, Treasury, super wealthy donors start seeing that through economic development is how you can start really building communities. It's time for us to realize that we don't need to be patient. We don't want to be patient. We need to realize that we are the solution that our community is looking for. We were started by our own leaders in our community because nobody was able to open accounts for us. And now everybody's looking for the Latino market in North Carolina. You know what? Too late. Too late.
Well, Shirley,
Yeah.
did you want to make a comment on that before I
Girl,
make my
I'm so dumbfounded because they have been able to pillage over us left and right. And I don't know what to say. Like, I think let the comments speak for themselves. Show your friends, show your page in the comments. Tell me, you Black people, tell me, are you comfortable with what you just saw? Forget how I feel. Forget my feelings. Y'all know how I feel. Those who have supported and watched me over the years and shared my videos, because see, YouTube suppress power. Write that down. It promotes buffoonery. If we talk about celebrities and rappers and stuff, you get millions of views. We are on a verge of extinction, and you Negroes are sleeping at the wheel and ain't even addressing this issue. So it doesn't matter what I feel anymore. I am a one-woman show with a team of friends who back me, but it ain't enough. I don't have an army because y'all ain't armonized anymore. You have de-weaponized yourself. You have devalued yourself. You don't even know what type of Negro you are. Y'all just had me on some show, and Angela, no disrespect to your friends, but when you want to compare me to a Nigerian saying, let's respect each other's platform, I don't respect immigrants who don't understand history. Understand what I'm saying? I don't respect immigrants, migrants, Americans, let me clarify that do not understand history. So unless you know the history, don't come up in my face. It's like walking to a Jews and not understanding the Jewish synagogue. You don't understand different types of Jewish people. And I'm going to get up there and talk a bunch of Jewish rhetoric just because I have 1% Asiatic Jew or something in me. It's the stupidest thing. If people don't understand how these people from that video that you just saw have this arrogant, unappreciative attitude of understanding the history of the platform that he is speaking on, and then going to say, my people are entitled, and your English is horrifically horrible. Your English is horrible, and no one tells you that, and I'm going to tell you. So, yeah, unless you Black people say something, and I ain't saying nothing because I didn't say enough. You Negroes need to take this video. You Negroes need to start writing, start blogging, start complaining that, we complain at city council meetings. Been there, done there, got the QB doll. They don't care. In California in 2015, if you watch my videos, the city of Huntington Park, they have given us, listen, let me tell you how deep it is. I asked them, I said, this English is horrible. They said, look, we have headsets in English so that you can understand what we're saying in Spanish at a city council meeting in America, Los Angeles. Now you explain that bull crap to me. So no, honey, I'm gonna go home.
They're not looking to be patient while we continue to show up and not. I don't understand why this ain't got the thousands of views that Tasha K gets
Right.
when she's dragging people like Cardi B? Where are those numbers? Freedmen are somewhere, by and large, watching this garbage while their people perish. You see, he talked about 100,000 members. We don't have 100,000 members in the reparations movement between all the grassroots combined. So you're right, Shirley. We get exhausted sounding the alarm while our people are asleep through reality TV, reality YouTube, not wanting to get in this fight, not wanting to do legislation. Lots of folks like to grift off of reparations, but they're not putting in the work. Okay? They're not putting in the work. So
and hold on. People might say, well, what is the work? The work is educating yourself on what type of Negro you are and the empowerment of money that you're not getting. Because the government, listen, our lives are all evolved around government. Even if you say, well, I'm not on Section 8, I'm not on WIC. I ain't talking about them low, dirty crumbs that the roaches eat upon. I'm talking about these big checks that these corporations get, these government grants, these executive orders, these SAM number, SAM.gov. You get you a SAM number. And I've talked about that, how Eric Coffin has been very clear on his YouTube channel of monies that are allocated to help you in your business, no matter what you do. These people are coming in and then they'll say money's allocated to minorities, and that was supposed to be Black people. Now they have taken that. Then they took it to the next level. And I've done this on my show, and you guys who followed me know this. They start their own banks. So the Nigerians have their banks in California. Don't get it twisted. The Hispanics have their banks. If you go over to Alhambra, and the Chinese have their banks, the Latinos have their banks. And when we start our bank, they raped our banks and then we stopped. And the Black banks that are in place right now, the foreigners go to Black banks to get their businesses going off of our money. That's how stupid we are in California. Well, how we still got it twisted. We got Black banks and they are funding a Hispanic off of Black money. That's how stupid Black people are. So,
well, honey, that's all over the nation. When I was trying to find out how many foundational Black Americans got business loans from the Harbor Bank in Maryland, where their median wealth is $15,000, I couldn't even find that data. So that's all over the country, where Black banks are set up to enrich immigrants and white folks. And Harris and Yellen are guilty. So of doing the same, weaponizing the Freedmen's Bank, weaponizing the horrors of Black Wall Street burned down in Tulsa, weaponizing a young businesswoman who lost 3 of her 4 stores in her franchise in Atlanta. And you never once hear them say Black or African American or freedmen or foundational Black Americans in none of what they saying. That Latino man had a space at that forum. I haven't listened to the whole 4 hours, but I didn't see in the minutes that I watched it, in the time that I watched it, I didn't see not one Black freedman on that stage with a mic in his hand.
Nope, not at all. And you know what's so interesting? I blame white people for this. Now, you know, white people, I know you watch me and I know you listening. So let me help you out, you uneducated white people that are not fighting for your America. The Black people are the foundation as well as the whites in this country. We helped build this country. But you, for some reason, when we Black people start talking Black, y'all get all upset like, oh, shit, she's going on that Black thing again. It's not about a Black thing. It's a historical clarification, especially with Dr. King's rise again. Now, I want y'all to pay attention. This is what I want y'all to pay attention. Who's following us right now, please like. And we got a lot of people listening. I need you to subscribe and click the like button and share and make comments now and make comments after this video. I want you to watch this parade that's about to happen. All these Martin Luther King, Dr. King parades all across the country. The immigrants have used this parade as their platforms now. You're going to see more immigrants, illegals, immigrants. You're going to see more people from different countries, different religions, different sexualities are acting like Dr. King stood for all that messiness that you see. When Dr. King, towards the latter of his life, before he died, talked about the poor whites in this country, the other people who are coming and surpassing us, are now the platform and the face of his parades. So you see it right before you. They do it right before you. They spit in your face right before you, and yet you still get nothing out of it. What you gonna do, Negroes? Because you need to clarify something. What you gonna do?
But sis, they did that. Don't they call themselves the Dreamers?
Shit. Yeah. They again. I spoke at a city council meeting with Ridley Thomas, who is now indicted. What an asshole! Who was a supreme, was head of that department downtown LA. Listen, I did a video and I showed y'all gotta look through my videos where I'm speaking outside of Los Angeles and they singing "We Shall Overcome." The Dreamers are saying, "Oh, we're dreamers, we're dreamers." You know, they took the terminology, our dream. Dr. King stated, "I have a dream." So they came in and said, "Oh, well, we have a dream too. We're dreamers. We don't have to speak English. We don't even," and then he joked in the video and said, "Well, you know, we can get part of it, you know." So they can talk behind your back, in front of your face, and call you all kind of name, white people. White people, the Mexicans, when they talking, they laughing because they gonna take your money and your next generation because you don't know that the Negro is the best ally you could ever have. Hell, my grandmother was half white. So don't tell me that blacks and whites in this country can't work together, but it is to our demise if we are going to continue to have these elected officials get through this next round and be able to do what this administration is doing, which is dividing the country financially and socially and destroying and weaponizing against the black descendant of slaves.
Well, this is why I constantly state that the work is making the phone calls. Why in the world didn't the motherboard explode when this went down? Why weren't we calling? You see, why weren't we calling in?
Because they don't want us to know. We're not ignorant people. Black people and white people are not ignorant. They just push this under the ground. But because they said Freedmen Bureau, it red flagged us who are conscious of what that historical name means and what the outcome of that is. Why wasn't Fox News? Where's Fox News? Where's CNN? Where is the Fox Soul? Hey, Fox Soul, I know you listening. You so-called black Fox Soul, that's all you niggas want to do is talk about celebrities. Why ain't you talking about the money and the displacement of blacks in this country, Fox Soul? You ain't talking about that. Shit.
Well, guess what? Neither is Roly-Poly Martin.
Okay.
Neither was Mark Hill, Lamont Shield, whatever the hell. Listen, I'm telling you that there is enough of us in the new black media that's talking about this, that if you're interested in learning how to get involved, that's not a hard thing to do. My emails are not overwrought with people who are looking to get involved and do the real work, okay? That's not what comes on. I am grateful for the people that watch this show, but I'm talking about, we went back to the earlier question. What is the work? The work is phone calls, emails, showing up and getting the education and doing something about it. Okay? We can't, the few of us that are fighting can't be the only ones in the fight. We need to reach critical mass. Okay? Furthermore, we got to come up with a voting strategy. Okay? We must have a voting strategy, a winning strategy for Freedmen. Now, I thought that a red top and a blue Congress was it. But the problem with the blue Congress is they are for immigration. And right now, immigration is the biggest threat to Freedmen. That's the biggest, most imminent threat to Freedmen. At the top of the show, I was showing you guys some graphs where Hispanics, like the one speaking at our Freedman Bank Forum, were 50,000 liquid nationwide on the median. Actually, I'm sorry, those numbers were for Maryland specifically, where the Hispanics are 50,000 liquid to blacks. They don't break it out between immigrant and foundational black freedmen. They don't do it that way. 15,000 liquidity. Well, I'm telling you right now, that 15K is predominantly freedmen black, because the national median income for Nigerians, like I showed throughout the broadcast, is around 68,000 plus. So when they talk about 15,000 liquidity, they don't mean the black immigrant. We are on the bottom. And so we must come up with a strategy to vote, a voting strategy. We can never put blue back at the top of the country until they talk real solutions for freedmen. That's my square. Until we come up off this bottom, I don't give a damn who trades places, but as long as there's capitalism, there needs to be a bottom. And we got two parties. And I'm saying, if we continue the trifecta of either party, it is the death knell for freedmen. And so I've been praying over it. I'm looking for people like Marcel Dixon, a full-chested cash reparationist who's working to unseat Kuhn Clyburn. I'm looking to vote for people that are committed to Freedman with his level of conviction.
Angela, is there any way you can prop that video and let them see how this brother went into the community and spoke our best interest? Just that one section of your own video on your show. Okay. You guys make sure you like and subscribe. Make sure that you share this video. You know, I'm tired of us coming off like we ranting, because we really are not ranting. A rant is when someone's just kind of babbling off at the mouth. We are providing you historical, factual information, present information. Like when I go on my page, like I showed y'all right now, you can go online and you can see where they have these marks. These are all on the White House website. This is on the White House website. It's called the Remarks by Vice President Harris and Treasury Secretary Yellen at the moderation of the conversation of the Freedmen Bureau Bank. And she tells her story. Now, what story does this Indian woman have of black people other than California infused this woman with rights? And I am upset with all you black Californians who gave this so-called wannabe Miss Harris black rights. And so in her speech that she did December 14th, 2021, she went ahead and she says, I can relate to black people. I. You are not an I lady. You are an Indian woman that is disgraceful because you do not respect your own culture of people. And then you jump from saying you black to from India. Well, hell, I might as well say I'm a Jew. If you can say you black, I'm about as Jewish as you are a descendant of slaves. So if she can say that, I'm going to say I'm a Jew. And watch a Jew come cut me and tell me, no, you're not Jewish, Shirley. You are a Negro. Well, then why can't we let it be clear that these people are abusing our name and our history and making comments and acting in their speeches? It's about I and how I think and what I'm relatable to. You don't relate to me. You don't relate to my circumstances. Your parents are immigrants that came into black communities, and we welcomed you people. What the hell for? Because in the end, you disdainfully treated us badly. Go ahead, Angela.
Okay, like I was saying, if you don't run reparations on your platform with the passion of a Marcel Dixon, I'm not going to encourage Freedmen to vote for you. And I'm looking for all anti-immigrationists in Congress, which is very few in number and dwindling, to promote them getting elected in midterms. Party be damned. Let me play the video. Before I bring him up on the stage. So stand by, family. Let me share my screen. I see you, Marcel. I see you in the lobby. Honey, we were supposed to do a dress rehearsal. Oh, you know, Freedman life. It didn't happen. He couldn't find the link, child, whatever. Let's see. Let's get it going, though. Without further ado, Mr. Greg Marcel Dixon at a town hall before he threw his hat in the ring, challenging Jim Clyburn in his Rich. Stand by.
Thank you, Congressman Clyburn, for coming to us and the politicians that say they speak for us, never want to speak to us. So I think we should thank them for being here. We should thank them for being here. Thank you, I love this handout, but it's missing one thing, and I'm going to try not to get emotional, but I want to read it. In 2019, the average, I know you know these statistics, the average wealth of the average white American family is $188,000. For Black American families, it's only $24,000. Now I'm done, okay? 80% of rural land, Black land ownership, has been lost since 1969. A white high school dropout has more wealth than a Black college graduate. Per the Accountable USA and the Food and Research Action Center, your district and district I've grown up in is the 6th worst district in the United States of America. South Carolina District 6. Now, there's a quote, and maybe that's not true, but there's a quote that says, I do not, it'll back up with census data, but there's a quote that says, I do not buy the concept popular in the 1960s, which said, we have suppressed the Black man for 300 years, and the white man is now far ahead in the race for everything our society offers. In order to even the score, we must now get the Black man an edge start, and even hold the white man back to even the race. I don't buy that. I'll be damned if I paid for the sins of my forefathers. I was responsible for my forefathers. I just responsible for now. Now, hearing that quote, y'all might think I'm talking about Donald Trump. You know, that was Joe Biden. Now, Congressman, you said we know Joe and Joe knows us. And Joe Biden told us that he would have our backs. But since being in office, Joe Biden has signed executive action for Asian Americans and Pacific Islanders. He has signed executive actions for LGBTQ citizens. He has done executive action for Native Americans. But where's his executive action for Black Americans? Now, what a lot of people may not realize, I don't know, I just want this. Funny thing, Joe Biden got in office and he repealed a lot of stuff Donald Trump did. For a man who said he wasn't concerned with the sins of forefathers, he's trying to repeal past sins of Donald Trump. But what about the biggest sin and the original sin this country committed, which was the brutal enslavement of my people, and after slavery, the race massacres, the violent discrimination that kept us in poverty, the land theft, okay? We, Black Americans, now, since 1865, Black Americans own only 0.5 wealth in America. Today, we own less than 3%. Since slavery, not much has changed. Joe Biden could easily do executive action and bring back the Freedmen's Bill, whose job was to close all disparities between Black Americans, who are descendants of freedmen, and white Americans. Joe Biden was just a stroke of the pen and start a commission to study reparations and implement them. You are a representative. We can't show up everywhere. People say, well, Black people need to organize. We've been organizing since the 1500s. These other groups come in like Asian Americans, and within a few months, it just builds for them. It's your job to speak up for us. So you say we know Joe and Joe knows us. I don't care what type of heart Joe has. I care about the policies Joe is going to pass. So why is it, Congressman Clyburn, that you do not support reparations and you do not push Joe Biden and at least bring back the Freedmen bill to close all disparities between white Americans and black Americans? You talk about a crisis at the border. What about the crisis in black America? That was the difference is the crisis in black America was inflicted on us externally. Well, America was built on our back, and we still pull this country up on our backs. It's broken every bone in our bodies, and yet it keeps up with our strength. Okay, well, can you please explain why you haven't pushed them on executive action specific policies for your people, black America? That's my question. I don't get it. Because we haven't seen it. I see you on the news, and you talk about every other issue, AAPI, LGBTQ. I watch you, I follow you. Just to see the way that black American issues, and you don't. HR 40, yes, that lacks direct cash payments and has no specific, that lacks direct cash payments. It lacks specific policies that black Americans are supposed to get. It's just a study for what policy is it specifying for us. We start with the minimum that black Americans are supposed to get. Where would you start? I would start with the minimum, that a reparations policy for black Americans. I don't know what the minimum is. I'm trying to answer your question. You gonna let me answer it? Where would I start? The minimum, there's a book called From Here to Equality that you have a copy of, the Mystic Grant NAACP Central copy, and I called your office. The minimum is explaining that at least $11 trillion, direct cash payments, land allotment, tax exemption, free education, the Freedmen's Bureau returning to close all disparity. That's the minimum. This country can't bring out other people they take it from us, but they can at least make a big down payment, like $65 billion, give us our $65 trillion.
Come through. Okay, I'm gonna stop that right there because okay, guys. Let me help you with something. Marcel is the TR Ruth. I need y'all to make this video go viral, and that interview I did with him needs to go viral. You see, there's a lot of free things y'all can do to help Freedman win. Okay, he got Coon Clyburn all the way together, and he continues to keep his knee on his neck to deliver for Freedman, akin to how he's currently moving and operating. He lies like a rug. They all do. Biden was recently lying again about marching for civil rights, when we know he is a segregationist in chief. And so this channel, as well as Shirley's, is designed to teach you the truth of who you are and the debt that is owed. This ain't about welfare. This is about being legislated to the bottom of this Titanic as the anchor of its capitalism. So if we're going to continue with capitalism, I am demanding, Shirley's demanding, the people in the movement are demanding Black folks, Freedmen in particular, trade places. Okay? I refer to us as Freedmen because that's already recorded. And as we saw, with the help of an Asian woman, Barack Obama got rid of the word Negro, which is actually on our birth certificates if you're Gen X. You're Negro on that birth certificate, which is tied to your justice claim. And they got rid of it because they decided to bamboozle us into believing we didn't like being called Negro, because she didn't like her people being referred to as Oriental. Okay, so Shirley, did you have anything to add to that fire video?
You know, I think I might do a video. I'm gonna call in Card. I know Nick Cannon's father. Nick Cannon's father is the one who brought that to my attention. Now y'all know how Nick Cannon is Nick Cannon, but his dad is very much pro-Black. And I think that he has his own show, and I think that we need to bring him on and discuss this issue, because until we clarify we are Negroes first, and we really need to have someone write a piece of legislation and reverse that and give us back our name. We need to understand that we need lobbyists. And so that all you celebrities who may be listening in, for God reason why you guys don't come into the fight, because your brand is affected. So we know you're going to stay low and slow, and y'all ain't even cutting no checks. But the celebrities, the athletes, the executive CEOs who have resources, who can make changes in their community, y'all need to step up to the plate now. Because I'm telling you, these immigrants have got a lot of power, and they have come here and they've been profitable off in America, and they help their own. But when you get accused of helping your own, they purposely bamboozle people of wealth or position of power or voice, like a Kevin Hart or somebody, and they gonna keep you suppressed to a certain point, because you starting to try to help Black people. But I'm telling you, if we would stop empowering people who don't really represent us, talk about take a knee. A knee does not cut a check, okay? A knee does not cut a check. And when they try to cut checks, it don't even get to us. The NFL cut some checks over that madness, and it still didn't get to us. We don't have no banks in place. We don't have no lobbyist firms. We should have our own lobbyist firms. Yes, we should. We need to have our own executive orders that have money in place that continually get refunded yearly. That those grants need to be allocated yearly, fundedly yearly to us, so that next generation, when it says, okay, that year we got so much money, we messed up so much money, we made a lot of progress with so much money, let's do it again. We need to have that stumble money and that triumph money. But until there's a clarification of all of this, honey, we just up here like, I guess we're just ranting.
Oh, honey, we're sounding the alarm, and trust me, you know, this is the work. I know you've been doing it for so many years. And so it's time for people like me, like Arthur Ward, I see in the chat, Otis. These guys have been speaking up and out. And, you know.
Hold on. You put something up that said Negro means Black in Spanish. Negro in America, I know, I understand what it means in Spanish, okay, sister? But we're not talking about the Hispanic Negro. We're not talking about Afro-Latinas. See, this is another thing, there's confusion here, because we have a different definition of what Negro means. Historically, if you've done your homework versus talking about, well, it means Latino, it means Spanish, it means Negra. No. We are talking about descendants of slaves, historically going back to Lincoln, going back to Andrew Johnson, going back to George Washington, going back, okay? And they ain't thinking about no Hispanic Negro name. You a nigga. What the hell is wrong with you people? And then they were able to ride on your back, not based on Hispanic attributes. So, you know, stop twisting definitions and terminologies in its placement. Yes, that is what it means in Spanish, but its placement in time is not adhere to what we are referring to in this conversation. And this is the problem I have with a lot of you people. I don't like you because you don't understand history, and then you got the audacity to come on platforms acting like you educated when you won't even know America history. Learn Black American history. Learn descendant of Negroes history. And then set a clarification.
A lot of the people in my chat are very educated on the issues of Freedman Black. So she was just making that distinction.
I know, but see that, but it causes confusion because yes, there's a distinction of. She didn't make a distinction. She made a statement that Negro means Negro means Spanish, Black and Spanish. Yes, it does. That is not applicable to this conversation because the history at the time of that name given to us. And we were called a lot of different things, colored. If you want to get technical, birth certificate, my mother's birth certificate said color. Okay. My
Right.
grandmother said mulatto. Okay. And what the
Okay.
hell's a mulatto? You know, it's a half black, half white person. And when you do census bureaus, I've looked up this. My grandmother is considered mulatto. Okay. Then you go to my birth certificate, it's considered Negro. Then when my kids were born, they didn't have anything. They said you can't even put African American on a birth certificate. Now you can't call yourself anything. So it's relevant to history.
Very true. But I think our bigger point is Freedman is our political status. And, you know, that's where the justice claim is tied. So, you know, they can get, listen, the Freedman is why we're fighting. Like, we need, like, these immigrants, Hispanics, in the Latino community in particular, thanks to Barack Obama, they've got an Office of New Americas. So they've been working on our replacement since Bush first, then Obama picked up that mantle, and now you have Office of New Americas all throughout the country, helping them to get advantages over us. Okay, that's number one. So number two is we need Freedmen Bureau offices specifically for Freedmen in this country, all over the country. That's doing the same things, advocating for Freedmen exclusively, again, to the way you heard that Latinx, that Hispanic guy, going hard for his people at our Freedman Bank Forum. So that's what we need to compete and to get what our people are long overdue. I saw a comment about the CBC. They have already sold out for their butter biscuits. They have pivoted to the way of making sure all lives matter, when we know in this country the only life that don't matter is Freedman life. Why do I say that? Well, when you have a median income of $68,000, are you living in communities where your median income is $30,000 or less? Where are the race soldiers policing? Where are the race soldiers executing us with immunity? Would that be in a neighborhood whose median income is $68K, whose median liquidity is $60K in 2014? Or would that be in neighborhoods where you're 200 liquid? So when I speak on this issue, why I say we need Freedmen bureaus all over the country, again, to the new Office of Americas for the Latina, I mean exclusively for Freedmen, because there is no other immigrant group, Black immigrants included, that are as oppressed as the Freedmen who descend from the heinous chattel slavery. Also, one of my co-hosts in the chat mentioned about how immigrants, Black immigrants, are left charge of the resources at these HBCUs. Not only are they left charge, remember when the Howard students went on strike and were sleeping outside the Blackburn Center? Because although they pay $197,000 for a four-year undergraduate education, the buildings they were expected to live in were roach infested, rat infested, mold everywhere in the middle of a pandemic. They were required to live amongst mold, rats, roaches. These were deplorable, worse than third world conditions that Freedmen Black, not Nigerians, not immigrant Black, as a matter of fact, the Trinidadian president, his annual income is close to $200,000 a year. Freedmen Black were having to sleep outside for 45 days before they started working on solutions. So they're not just in charge of the money, they're making all the money as the staff and faculty. And I can't find nowhere the distinction between how many Freedmen Black are even at the HBCUs that were established to educate us as compared to immigrant Black. I can't find the data nowhere. And that is by design. This is why we are fighting here in California, for them to disaggregate Blackness again to the 126 ethnicities the Hispanic man spoke about at the Freedmen's Bank Forum. They got 126 ethnicities, and they flattened Blackness under Black and African American in this country so that they can mask the failures of the government who crippled us, who neutralized us economically, and now they're coming for our vote. And so this is why I say we got a lot of Black folks, Jamal Bowman, Cori Bush, who sit up here and pretend to be for reparations because it's politically expedient. You need to vet your candidates very closely because it's even cropping up in the reparationist movement where we're getting excited about certain people who aren't running reparations on their platforms, who have not been a part of this movement from the gate, but they want that Black vote. And so they show up and pretend to be one of us to use us to put them in office. You must vet these candidates. And if they are cut from the same cloth as a Marcel Dixon, you need to pass. And you need to be looking for politicians who are against immigration. We have got to stop this. This is the albatross around the necks of Freedmen and around our reparations. Because the Democrats and the Republicans alike on both sides of the aisle, and I include them because Mitch McConnell is married to an Asian woman, and the AAPI got $350 million of our reparations dollars, and they got protections. And that was about 100% of Congress, including the Republicans. So what you want to look for when you go to the polls, party be damned, find the ones that are anti-immigration, because we are the only ones struggling under that. You see, white folks blues ain't Freedmen blues. Why? Because they killed for and stole our reparations. When you hear about folks quitting their jobs and not returning during the pandemic, that ain't Black folks. Black folks are forced to either vaccine or be terminated. White folks are quitting their jobs because they can afford to off of our reparations that they were given when Andrew Jackson Johnson took away our 40 acre and a mule and gave them the Homestead Act for 100 years. So when they say, oh, the country's quitting and not returning to work, no, white folks who killed and stole our repair are quitting their jobs. They're retiring from their jobs so that they can be with their families, so they can luxuriate all over the country. If you didn't capitalize on your whiteness and you set up and got addicted to opioids and did your thing, then this is why you're crying. And you want us to tether our fight to you. No, you should have capitalized on your whiteness. I don't have nothing to do with you because you still to this day think that your whiteness benefits you and gives you an advantage because at least you get to live. Well, you rolled that gravy chain all the way to your own poverty. That ain't my monkey, it ain't my circus, okay? Black folks can't quit their jobs. They can't even find jobs. We got the highest unemployment and underemployment rates in the country. That's by design of institutional systemic racism. Because we don't have any social capital at these hiring tables. We are left to beg for jobs from immigrants and white folks alike. So, like I said prior, I'm not anti-immigrant. I am anti the weaponization of immigration against freedmen whose ancestors built all the wealth the immigrants and white folks eat from with their lives.
So Angela, let me ask you this. With viewers watching right now, and thank you guys for much subscribing and watching and sharing this video. Let's give them some takeaways. I want you guys not to our takeaway today is that you're educated about what's going on. You have an administration, listen, that has put together a Black Freedmen Bureau form of banking allocated and utilized and by immigrants who feel entitled and who want to continue to suppress and weaponize against you. That is the message that we want you to understand. And we want you to do your own homework. We don't want you to say, well, you guys said this and you said that. No. I have asked you kindly. I have asked you in different forms today and last week and years prior to this, going back to hiphoprepublican.tv, where you can go on YouTube and find my hiphoprepublican.tv, where I talked about how these immigrants were going to do what they're doing. So what is your takeaway? Your first takeaway you need to do is start writing and reading. Write, read, blog, podcast about this subject matter. And then you need to go and talk to your local officials about, first, what type of Negro are you? That's always my number one type of question to people. What type of Negro are you? Because if you don't realize that what you're doing is not to our best interest and to our demise, there lies the problem. Because in their mind, they don't see a problem. So if they don't see a problem, you don't see a problem, then there will be no problem, right? That's wrong. Because what you're doing is you're seeing the outcome of the foundation of no solutions and no conclusion. The homeless numbers in California are off the chain. We are the number one most homeless culture of people in California. And yet these people leverage their plight, their pain, and their story. And they speak from a point of disposition. And then we sit back and have to hear their disposition. When you take your turn and finally say, well, let me tell you my disposition, time is up. Nobody cares about your disposition because you've leveraged and you've lended your ear and your time and your power to these people. So by the time you say, well, I want to say something now, it's too late, boo-boo. It's too late because you have leveraged these people over yourself. So unless you stay awoke, stay conscious, and do everything that Angela has told you to do and everything I've told you to do, you need to go and find them old black papers and talk to the editors and say, I would like to write a story. What do I write a story on, Shirley? Start with this video. Start with the information that we are providing you in this video. Start with some of the videos Angela has done, some of the articles that I wrote. I wrote for the Washington Times for 4 years, and after 4 years of communities in the Washington Times segment, they took all of that down because the white people don't want to support urban voices. So your voice is not going to be supported by white America. It has to be supported by allies. And I do believe in allies. I know in that talk show you just saw me on, she's talking about we want to work with our allies. Now, that brother was not about, first of all, he tells you I'm from Nigeria. Okay. Now you've already told us your position. You didn't come on the show saying, let me address the topic matter. I want you to understand there's certain methods that these people do. In the first 3 to 5 minutes of a conversation with someone, when they introduce themselves as an immigrant, a foreigner, or a person of disposition, you've already lost the conversation. So that's your first consciousness of these people when they talk to you versus them just talking about, hey, how you doing? How's your day going? You know, I love the subject matter of what you guys are talking on. It really brings light to a lot of things I want to share. And that would be what he should have entered at. No, he entered saying, first, I'm Nigerian. When you do that, you have just dismantled anything that we said in regards to the Freedmen Bureau situation of historical outcome and ramifications. So yes, I cut him because I wanted, and I cut the people on the show to understand I am not going to sit on the sideline and smile while these people tell me their plight and their problems. I don't give a rat's ass. I'm done.
Also, before we close out, because we are over 2 hours, I want to thank everyone for tuning in. I don't see you Facebook, I don't see you Twitter, but I know you're out there. Listen here. In addition to educate yourself, really give my strategy some thought. Because as I mentioned prior, a trifecta of either party is our death knell. And just voting for the Democrats, well, you're voting for immigration to remain the albatross around the necks of Freedmen and around our reparations, because they're giving it away while telling us they have no way to make us whole. I want to remind you that if they'll have us back, I don't know. This series is in 3 parts. And me and Shirley blew up the Sankofa Pan-Africanist kind of thing that they doing over there. I don't know if they gonna have us back, y'all. But that's okay. I appreciate them inviting us in the first place.
Yes, we do.
And I'm glad that we stood on our square. I'll repeat one last time before I pray us out, that this is about us, everybody getting involved in this movement. When I send out the alarm to make a call, to send an email, to take what we have crafted under some of the organizations I work with and make that stuff go viral, when I ask you to make these videos go viral, I mean that that's what I need you all to do. Because we don't get this until we reach critical mass. Okay? He got 100, that Hispanic man, remember, had 100,000 members. And as California goes, so goes the nation. Half the families in this country are homeless, and they're Freedmen families. They are not Black immigrants who, like I told you, Nigerians who descend from our slave traders are 68,000 median income to our 41, to actually it's 30,000 or less since the pandemic for Blacks nationwide. That's if you can find a job. The unemployment rate is low for everybody but us. If they tell you unemployment is 5%, it's more like 20% for Blacks, okay? Please understand what I'm trying to tell you. We've got to weaponize the only thing that they've not been able to neutralize yet, but they're working on it feverishly, and that's our vote. They're working to neutralize our vote by flooding the country with immigrants and refugees. And the immigrants will vote Democrat until they make 50K, and then they flip to the Republican side. We've got to have a Freedman strategy. I've shared with you what I intend to do after much prayer. And, share with me what you plan to do, what you think is a good strategy is. You can email that to the repperspect@gmail.com, the repperspect@gmail.com. I want to thank you one and all. Shirley, did you have any closing words before I pray us out?
I'm so grateful for all of us that have an ear. Let us hear. Those who have a voice, let us have a voice. Let us continue to share and encourage each other through knowledge. And a lot of people don't understand Black people's energy. They think when we speak in this manner, we're screaming and we're yelling and we mad at each other. No. We don't always agree, but we're going to still express how we are as a people to each other. And so I want to encourage you, please come back to our channels. Please share our channels. Watch our previous shows. Make comments. I'm thankful for all the people that have watched me, Lawrence and a Flagship, and shout out to him. And I'm so grateful for love my folks. Thank you for moderating, and Pam I am, and Dougie and all you guys, and Chief Liz son. I mean, you guys are out here, and to me, you're putting in the work because you're coming in regularly helping me support, especially those who are moderators on your page as well, Angela. The moderators don't have to be on here. And you guys come in, you always encourage us. You always say things to support, to help our people have a clarification. We all are a family here. We're a family here. And I think that people think we all mad at each other. No. We're not mad. We just kind of opinionated. But we definitely have to start showing some action behind all this visual and this this physical energy that it takes to get this message across. Thank you for having me on your show.
I'm Shirley. Where can they find your show?
They can find me at Shirley, SHIRLEYHUSAR @gmail.com. If you want to email me and have discussions, you're more than welcome. If you need me on your show, you make sure you email me. We can do that. Or you can just find me on my YouTube channel, which is Shirley Husar, HUSAR. Please make sure that you follow me on my channel, and let's have a discussions, because I do have times where I allow people to chime in and we talk. But I think people are smart. They know not to chime in with some bullshit and tell me about how your country and your Africa. I'm not going down that road. I'm not. I'd rather just go down the road of just educating us on who we are. Know what type of Negro you are and your placement in that.
Amen. And with that being said, family, the light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. And the presence of God watches over us. Wherever Freedmen and its allies are, God truly is, because guess why, family? You are the face of God. You are the voice of God. You are the body temple of the Spirit of the living God. And with that said, family, until next time we meet, you make it a beautiful, God-inspired rest of your Saturday and work week. Know this, if nobody told you today, know that I love you, Black family. I love you so strong. And I want to tell you peace, love, and guess what, family? Reparations. Peace, love, and reparations, family. That's what's up. I love y'all. Peace, peace. I'm out.
You know, they've taken the shackles off of our feet and they put it on our mind. And I've said that before. I'm not going to stay on much longer than I've already have been on. Thank you guys so much for chiming in and watching this show. I hope it was educational. I hope you felt like you got something from it. And y'all got comments you want to ask me real quick before I go? Thank you for all your participation. Let's keep the conversation going. Let's leave the comments. Absolutely. Thank you. I love my folks. We do share platforms with people who have the same ideology and agenda. And the question I want to ask you for 2022 is what we're going to get out of any of this. Because they're going to have monies allocated. They're going to still do what they're doing. This is the twist, right? We can sit here and rant all we want about the real facts of the truth of the matter. And we can sit back and provide knowledge and history and things in written form. The question is, they're still leveraging. They're still leveraging. So, I think that we talk about platforms and voices. I think that what has happened is where our celebrity voice, our entertainment voice, our voices who have bigger platforms than me aren't saying nothing. Or they're too scared. I just don't understand the fear factor. Maybe that's where I'm at. Well, I don't understand where you have these celebrities who Samuel Jackson's got to be addressed with this. Denzel Washington has to be addressed with this. That Kevin Hart or some of these athletes have been addressed with this. But they know that they're being watched by immigrants and they're getting funded by migrants for their movies and for their stuff. And the Smiths and the rest of them, they make money off of all these other people. So are those people really Black anymore, right? Because they are a whole nother economic level, right? They're at a whole nother platform level as far as that 1% Black. And when you become like that, like these entertainments, like LL Cool J or any of these people, they become non-connecting Negroes to me. Like they don't connect to us anymore. Because people with that type of money or power or position should be saying something or should be participating on our shows and talking to our people, but they don't. So, what is the answer? I think just time and giving our platforms to resonate and grow and stew like a good pot of gumbo. We've got to give it a chance to get other people in this fight with us so that we have a clarification. So anyway, thank you guys for watching and subscribing. I love you. I appreciate you. I want you to stay empowered. I want you to stay encouraged. Shout out to all the people from Texas and Philly and Cali. Shout out to the people in Mississippi and South Carolina. Shout out to people in Nebraska. Shout out to all the southern states, all those southern states that you know who you are, who are watching. And I don't want to keep saying states because I'm going to skip somebody and they're going to be saying, you didn't say my state. I can't say them all, but I can just say that I know you exist. I know you're real. My daddy's people from Louisiana. My mother's people from Arkansas. Shout out to my own people. I love y'all, but you have to love yourself first. If you don't love yourself first and you ain't setting a platform and sharing this platform and use these videos and discuss them, use them and say, I want to do a review on these videos, do a review on this video, and then have a discussion and say, what do you think about what she said? Is it true or not true? And then let's come back and try it again. So anyway, peace, love, hot sauce, grits, and a fried chicken. No sugar in the grits. We don't like sugar in our grits. And any of y'all who got sugar in your grits, shame on you. Salt, butter, and pepper in the grits. That's my words for the day. Try that without the sugar, and you might live a little longer. Anyway, talk to y'all soon. Let's keep it going. Peace and love. Good night.